out
But
the
also,
lines, and then
um,
in a minute I'll give you
one
guys an opportunity
thing
to
you may
unmute.
notice from having
Let's
listened to
see,
the
where is
podcast and
my?
stuff is it's going to
Here we go.
determine how much you can
Okay, there we go. So I went ahead and just muted out the lines. Sounds like we still got a couple people that are unmuted. Let me try one more time. And so we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. And what I would love is for you guys to just share your success stories, unmute yourself to share. But I've talked to some of you guys, so I know that we've got a lot of success stories. Before we do that, today we're going to be focused on how to do a successful open house. I'm also going to circle back to some scripts, and I'm going to share a couple other things with you as well. I don't have a slide today because what happened, I got a new computer. I'm on a PC. I'm learning it. I thought I could just open my Keynote slides on here. It shows you how long I've been on a Mac, and I cannot. So I'm in the process. I don't have PowerPoint, and so I'm trying to figure out how to convert it, and I'm going to get it on Google Slides. Today I'll upload it in the Facebook group, but it's okay because you're not going to need them. Really, the main thing is seeing the script that you're going to use, and I do have that to share with you on the screen, and I'll also upload the script as well. So before I do that, I want to let you know a couple of things before we do the celebration. So let me just share my screen real quick and show you a couple things. The first is that I did a agent attraction mastermind on the fourth Monday of every month. There are 3 different tiers in my Patreon page if you guys are patrons. So for $10 a month, you get all the recordings of Real Estate 101. You get access to all the little special masterminds and on the fly classes that I do, agent interviews. There's lots of content on there. And I think you guys that are patrons would agree that I've had so many people say, man, for $10, this is some of the best real estate content I've ever gotten. Scripts, dialogues, all that kind of good stuff. And then like $25 a month, you get all the same content, plus you get access to a monthly group coaching call. I do that the third Monday of every month. And then for $100 a month, you get all of that. Plus you get access to the mastermind. And this was the first mastermind I kind of opened up to all the patrons and just said, come experience what it's like. It's a smaller group. It's more intimate. We ask questions. I'm not just standing there talking. I bring in guest presenters. I bring in outside people so you get to hear from them. But I have uploaded, a lot of people have asked me for the agent needs analysis and the 3 to 4 times the script when it comes to agent attraction. Those 2 items I have uploaded into our GoPro Bootcamp. But also when you're on the Patreon post for agent attraction, if you just type in agent attraction mastermind, or if you just go to the Patreon page, which I'll share that in the chat here in just a little bit. Oh, that's moving my whole window. I'm learning this PC thing, and so different. But in there, you'll see these orange or red files. You can just click on them and it'll download. So it's in the actual video and the post. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then in a minute, I'm going to open up these scripts. I've got the circle prospecting script I talked about last week. I just uploaded that in the file section for you as well. In addition to other scripts are already there, but the circle prospecting one just came up. So let's go ahead and do some celebrations. What are some things that you guys want to celebrate today before we start the call? Good things that have happened.
I will I will share if I'm not frozen here.
No, you're not frozen. You're perfect.
I'm frozen. I'm in a public place and it's not working so well, it looks like. But
We
I
hear you
wanted
perfect.
it's showing it's unstable. Anyways, hopefully you guys can hear, but I have my first contract and first closing in November. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool. Who else wants to share? Something you want to celebrate?
I've got something.
Go ahead.
Held an open house over the weekend and was able to find a buyer. So I'll represent the buyer. I was doing an open house for another EXP agent. and looks like we're going to have an accepted offer on it. So
yeah, that's awesome. And see, people say open houses don't work, and there's just a prime example of open houses work. In fact, Noah had a closing Friday, and his commission was about $8,000.
yeah,
And it
that's
came,
what this will be. This will
he
be
picked
about
it
that.
up from an open house. So definitely work. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's great news.
Thanks.
Who else?
I'll share.
Okay.
I got in the past week, I've gotten a listing under contract, and I got a buyer under contract last night on a house, and got a referral put together between Noah and I.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, he told me that he was actually communicating with your client last night. So that,
yeah,
that
I was
awesome.
initially concerned because I realized that half of the realtors in Baton Rouge are related to you, and I figured I might be referring him to someone who was going to get canned by him.
No, he was excited, so I appreciate that. That's great stuff, man, and that's all. That's something to celebrate for sure. Who else?
I got something.
Okay.
I had a closing last Thursday and another one last Friday. And on Thursday is the first one in my farm area. So I've been trying to work that, and it finally worked itself out. And then the one on Friday was across the street from a listing from earlier this year. So working around your listings definitely works. So it's proving things out for me here. 2 firsts, right?
That's awesome, man. Very cool. Very cool stuff. That's when we most of the time we have all the best intentions on leveraging our listings that we have and the markets that we're in, and we just don't do it, and we don't do it consistently. And so what I want you to take away from some of these things that you're hearing: open houses work if you work them right. Circle prospecting works if you do it right. Leverage your other listings. People will notice you, especially you heard Scott say he's been farming, and you got to stay, that you want to be on their radar when the subject of real estate comes up in their world, because they're not focused on you. As much as we like to think they're focused on us, consumers are not, and we have to stay in front of them because their attention span is like a nanosecond, and you have to stay on the forefront of their mind. That's awesome stuff, Scott. Thanks for sharing. Who else? Anyone else want to share something you want to celebrate?
Since we got back from EXPCon, I got a listing and an offer on a listing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations. Very cool. Got a listing and got an offer on a listing. By the way, who would say anyone in here who have active listings? What's the most amount of listings you've gotten in 30 days? Anyone? Most amount of listings in a 30-day period that you've went and got?
I have gotten 3, John.
3? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I'm just gonna do a little news flash. We're gonna do a little contest, something fun that we're gonna start, and we're gonna start it tomorrow, and it's gonna be 30 days, and it's and I'm going to I'm not positive what I'm going to do for the recognition, but I think it's going to be these really cool caps that I saw that they had at EXPCon. It's not, it's got EXP on it, but it says, "Who wants to sell a house?" I don't know if you guys saw those hats, and they have some shirts. And so I want to put together a cool little package for who. Here's the kicker though. I'm going to compete with you guys. I haven't actively listed real estate in a long time. I've helped Noah, and I've been in the leadership capacity and coaching and consulting agents. I'm going to do everything I've been teaching you guys to do. And for the next 30 days, we're going to just do a fun little contest and see who gets the most listings in 30 days. You guys down with that? So some of the things we're going to do is I'm going to make live calls to across the board, sphere of influence, expireds, for sell by owners, I'm going to make do door knocking, and I'm going to do videos on the door knocking so you can hear the interaction. So all the things that we're going to be talking about on the calls, you're going to be able to dial in. I've got this thing figured out now where you can, a lot of people helped me last night, and it was painful trying to figure it out, but you're going to be able to dial in and hear live calls with me and the other person on the line, whether it's an expired or for sale by owner or someone in my sphere that I know. So you can hear the scripts in action, and it's going to force me to work. So I just thought, I'm going to do these calls anyway. Why not go do the appointments too, and really do the things that I'm teaching you guys to do. So I think it'd be a fun little contest. Craig, are you on? Would you share kind of your success story? Because you called me yesterday, and I thought that was a neat story.
Yes, I was just kind of letting everybody share, and I did share a little bit in the boot camp, but there's more to that story that I shared with Jonathan. It just goes to show you just got to push through. I was actually in the process of getting my Kixie set up. I was on customer support with Kixie, trying to work this out, and I clicked on the dial for on my land voice for one of the phone numbers. It's calling. My headset is on my desk, and I could hear them speaking through my headset. Hello. And I'm like, oh, crap. And I'm trying to hang up because I wasn't ready to talk to them. I'm on customer support. I end up finding out how to hang up on them. I accidentally hit them again. I completely messed up this call. And then she's texting me saying, hey, you just called me twice. Who is this? And I said, oh, man, now what do I do? Do I just scratch that one and forget about it? No, let's call him. And so I text her back. I said, I'm so sorry. Call you in a second. Call her back. And I just told her, I said, hey, listen, I'm so sorry. You were on a list. I said, we're a pretty advanced tech company here, and we got some great technology that I'm unfortunately just now starting to learn. As you can tell, try to make her laugh a little bit, but hey, let's talk about why I was going to call you. Went into the FSBO talk, the script. Would you be offended if I came over for 10 or 15 minutes to look at your house? I had an appointment within 2 hours. I was standing in her living room, and I feel pretty strongly that we're going to be listing that house. She said, just give me a couple weeks, and I want to try this. Man, I'm telling you, it was a success. That was my first call with Land Voice and Kixie. It was a complete screw up, and still got the appointment. So guys, just get after it.
That's awesome. And what was so funny is when Craig called me yesterday or he messaged me and then called me, and we were chatting about it, and I knew exactly what he was talking about because I'd done the same thing when I first started. I didn't realize I had called somebody and it was ringing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And it's on right at that point. It's you're being connected with them, and then so I thought that was awesome. You got an appointment, and now here's the kicker. Just remember, it's all about that follow-up process. So it's that 8-week process you want to make sure that you follow up with. And I have almost completed. It's just, guys, I apologize. It's taken me a little bit longer than I thought it was on my computer, but I've almost finished the video of how to make that campaign, how to build out that campaign within KB Core for those of you guys who are using KB Core. Now, if you want to learn more about Land Voice, we talked a lot about that last week. I'm posting a link in the chat box right there, and they actually called me. So I didn't reach out to Land Voice and say, hey, can you give our folks any kind of special deal? They called me and said the Monday after EXPCon, and they said, we had so many people that came up at EXPCon and said they wanted Land Voice, and when we asked them where they heard about it from, they said Jonathan, and so we just wanted to call and see if we could create a special pricing deal for the people that you teach. And I said, well, sure you can. I as long as I don't have to do anything. If I just need to share it out, then sure you can. So they did. I just posted it in the chat if you want to learn more about Land Voice. And it is, I think it's quarterly. I think you can pay monthly, but it's cheaper if you pay quarterly. But I know you can pay monthly because I pay monthly. I pay $177 a month is what I pay. There's multiple packages though, so it is way cheaper. You are correct, Ray. If you do it quarterly or do it annually, but however you have to do it, it gives you the content, and you guys saw that last week. It gives you the content. You saw Craig make a call, his first call, and he was able to set the appointment, and now all he needs to do is it's in the system. Remember, you're starting the dance. That's all that you're doing. You're getting into dialogue, and now you're going to follow up with them for 8 weeks. The other agents are not going to follow up. If they're even calling the for sale owners, they're not going to be following up. Anyone else, anything you want to share? I don't want to cut off anybody and take away your opportunity to share something you want to celebrate.
I will. It's on agent attraction, where I've been living. I have been looking like forever, for at least a year, for a place to do my lunch and learns. And I finally came across a man that will allow me to use his room at a title office. A lot of them out here don't. They say it will create not a good environment with their business when they're having against other brokerages. So he said I could. So I was like, yay, I finally have a room to host my lunch and learn. So that was a big one for me.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Anyone else? Anything you want to share? Go ahead.
I forgot to share another one, that the buyer that I'm closing a house on in November, she's living with a roommate, and he's looking to sell his property, and probably not till spring, but he said if he does, it's mine. So
yeah. So it's
exciting.
building that pipeline. It's all about building the pipeline. If you remember, plan, prospecting, lead, follow up. So you got someone who says, I'm ready. It's all about following up with them. And it doesn't matter how long, short period or long period of time, as long as you're following up with them. And then the goal is to get to an appointment to ultimately negotiate, write and close contracts. So that's awesome. Way to go. Just keep filling that pipeline. Keep filling that. If you fill your pipeline, stuff's going to come out of it. And it's a natural law. Anyone else? Anything you want to share before we dive into the open house session? Going once.
Hey, Jonathan, I'll jump in.
Okay.
I want to celebrate a real mindset change. I am coming up on my first year anniversary with EXP on December the 1st, and really excited to be a part of EXP and the growth that I've had within myself in the last 11 months. And as I'm coming up on my year anniversary, I'm looking at that anniversary being the beginning of the new year 2019 for me, because it's my reset date for reaching cap and all of that stuff. And as I'm sitting down and making all of my goals and writing my goals and my whys, I'm really just kind of stunned at the way I'm able to reach further and with my goals than I ever have in the past. I'm excited about extra growth that before in the past would not have been in my realm of thinking, that I can reach that. And a lot of it is with the education that you've provided in this course, and then all of the education that's available to us in EXP. So I want to celebrate a real mindset change.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that. And it's really happening because you're now receptive. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday on the agent attraction side. And I told him, I said, for 3 years, they said, I'm totally not interested in EXP. I said, well, what part are you not interested in? And I just was quiet. And they said, well, just all of it. I said, well, when you say all of it, like, what do you mean? You're not interested in selling real estate and having a higher split, having a higher commission. You're not interested in generating additional streams of revenue. You're not interested in participating in stock. You're not interested in learning and growing your business. Like, what are you not interested in? And we talked a little, and I said, can I share a story? I said, for years, people talked to me about EXP, and I said, I'm not interested. And I didn't know why I wasn't interested. I didn't know anything about EXP. I had never even taken the time to look at it. I was not open-minded to look at it. And when you look at an opportunity, you have to be open-minded. Tony Robbins wrote in the book Awaken the Giant Within, he said, if you want to live a superior life, you have to be able to learn how to make superior evaluations. And to make superior evaluations, you have to be open-minded. And I said, and then I came to a point where I had to make some changes, and I was open-minded. And I said, why was I so closed-minded years ago? Like what caused me? And I said, and I feel like we're having this conversation and you're totally closed-minded and you've been spoon-fed some generic things that you're just regurgitating to me because what you're saying isn't making common sense. You don't even know what you're saying no to. And all I'm trying to say is get the information. So same thing with you, Ricky. You just were at a place where now you're open-minded to going, what do I need to unlearn? What are the things I need to pour out of my cup to make room for the new? And it's not always that we have to learn all these new things. It's just what are things we need to unlearn. Clark has shared a lot. He's been in the business for a long time, and he said, "Man, I'm open-minded to doing some things different now." And as a result, he's seeing lots of results happen and show up, and activity and moving in a different direction in his business. It's just because you're going, hey, I'm ready to unlearn some things, and I'm open-minded to the new things coming my way. So that's awesome. Great stuff, man. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive into open houses. This is probably going to be one of our shortest sessions because there's a lot to what we're going to talk about, but there's also not a lot to it in a sense of don't overcomplicate this. It's easy to overcomplicate real estate. We do it all day long. Yet in this business, I'm telling you, open houses are one of the best ways. If you don't have enough leads coming in to meet or exceed your goals, you should be doing open houses. It gets you in front of people who are looking at houses. And if they're looking at houses, the odds are they want to buy a house. Now, the reason you hear agents say, well, open houses don't work, I've tried them, it's because they planned it at the last minute. They went Sunday, got some balloons, stuck them on a sign, went and did an open house. They didn't promote it the right way. They didn't know how to talk to the people that came through the open house. They didn't know how to capture their information. They didn't know how to follow up with them after the open house. And they thought that the purpose of the open house was to sell the house they were holding open. And we all know that the purpose of an open house is to do two things. What are the two things that an open house is held for?
Find buyers and make the seller happy.
Finding buyers and making sellers happy. That's the two things that you're doing to accomplish, what you're working to accomplish when you're doing an open house. Now, you might say, I don't have any listings. I can't remember who was saying it earlier, so I'm sorry. But y'all just heard someone say they did an open house for another EXP agent, and they picked up a buyer and wrote a contract. Well, you have lots of agents who would be more than happy for you to hold open their listings. They have too many. So if they've got 5 or 10 listings that are active, you can go find those agents. All you need to do is go into KV Core and go into the listing tab and type in EXP, or type in some of the agents you know in your market that are with EXP. It'll pull up all their listings, and you can select one that you think is a really good listing. It's in the market you want to work. It's in the price point you want to work. You think there'll be lots of traffic. Call that agent and say, listen, can I hold open your listing next week? Don't do it last minute like the day before. You've got to plan this out, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do each day in just a second. And you can go hold as many open houses as you want. Now, the goal, you should have a goal, an end goal of your open house. And I think a good goal, you guys know who Ben Kinney is by any chance? Ben Kinney, he started his career in real estate doing open houses. And he would do an open house every day of the week, every day. And his goal from the open house was, if I could get one appointment from that open house, then it was worth it. Now, he might not have said it right away at the open house, but his goal was, if I can get one appointment, if I get 5 or 10 people that come through my open house, and from those I can get one buyer consultation, one appointment, then it was worth it, or one listing appointment from it, it was worth it. And then he shifted to where he just did one once a week, and then just once a month. And, obviously he doesn't do any anymore. So the goal, I think a good goal of a open house is, you might do the one appointment, but I think if you can get between 1 to 3 appointments is a good goal for your open house. Now, remember, you might not set it right away. You might have to follow up with those people from the open house. That's why your CRM, your database, is so important. And you want to make sure that you're putting people into your database and knowing that they came from an open house and which open house they came from. If you're using KV Core, you should download the KV Core Open House app, so that when your prospective buyers come in, and I'm going to give you the script to get them to sign in, but you get them to sign in on your iPad or your phone through the KV Core app, so that it automatically adds them to your CRM, and it automatically lets you know which open house they came to, which property they came to. So that you can then follow up properly, and maybe it takes 3 months, but then you finally get to a point where they're ready. That open house was worth it, because remember, the average commission is about $6,300 according to NAR nationwide. So it is, the money is all in the follow-up. Here are a couple things that I want you to do. I want you to pick a date today to do an open house the way we're going to talk about it. Calendar that open house. I think you still have time. Today's Wednesday, to do one Sunday, but it might be next Sunday that you plan it. I just want you to plan it. I want you to put it on your calendar. I want you to pick a partner that you can practice some of these scripts on with them before your open house. And part of what you're going to do is some door knocking. So you might want to pick a partner to go with you to door knock for your open house if they're in your area. And then if they're doing an open house, you can go with them and help them door knock for safety reasons. I think you want to use common sense when you're knocking on doors. You want to be in a safe area. You don't want to go at night. And you maybe want to have someone with you going to knock on the doors. And then you want to get your marketing together. If you aren't familiar with eXp marketing, when you log into your back office and to Passport, you can click on eXp marketing and it'll take you right there. And there are multiple resources for open houses. There's also door hangers. So you're going to create a door hanger. Now, if you're going to do one this Sunday, you obviously don't have time to get a door hanger shipped into you, but you might just use a flyer instead of a door hanger and roll it and stick it by the door if they're not there when you knock on the door, so that they have it. Again, I'm going to give you the scripts on what you say when you do this. So here's what you're going to do. On Monday, and again, I promise you I'll put these slides up. On Monday, you want to record a video invite. Record a video invite on Monday. And Heather Gill just said today is National Door Knocking Day. I did not know that. So if someone gets mad at you, you can say, "Hey, I'm just trying to follow the rules." It's Halloween. Is it really National Door Knocking Day, or did you just say that because it's Halloween? And you go, Jonathan is gullible, and I can tell him anything. And
it's just Halloween. It's National Door Knocking Day.
Thank you. Okay, there we go.
If you wear a costume.
There you go. Go as a realtor. So I'm sorry. I got that's my ADD kicking in. So on Monday, you're going to record a video invite. Heather uses this great app, and she can maybe type it in the chat again. It's free. I use BombBomb. I pay for BombBomb. You could even do it as simple as just recording it on your phone and texting it to people in your database and posting the video on Facebook. But you're going to also send out an email to your database and attach that video. So find the tool, look at the one that Heather shared. Even if you have to right now upload it to YouTube and copy a link and paste it in, it doesn't matter. The key is on Monday, you're going to record a video invite, and that video invite is going to really be for your sphere of influence. So you're going to say something like, hey guys, this is Jonathan Dupree, and I just wanted to let you know I'm going to be holding a great open house this weekend. And this house, I'm telling you, if you know anyone who's looking for a phenomenal 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a great swimming pool and backyard in Lake at White Oak, you got to come see this house. I'd love to just see you anyway and catch up with you. So just come by and check out the house. And if you happen to know anyone who's looking to buy a home in this area in Lake at White Oak, man, forward them this video for me and invite them to come to the open house. Just quick, simple, just like that. Just like you were, don't get scared of the camera. Don't get nervous. Act like it's not there and just talk. Just talk like you're normal. The best videos are always going to be the ones that aren't scripted out. You have a framework of what you're going to say, but you're not sitting there reading a script, and sound like a robot. Just be yourself and have fun. Hey guys, as you're talking to your friends. And so that's what you're going to do on Monday, is record a video invite. On Tuesday, you're going to take that video and you're going to email it to your database. You're going to your sphere of influence. You're going to email it. You're going to text message it to your close people in your sphere. You're going to post it on Facebook. Those are the 3 things you're going to do that video. You might even want to post it on Instagram and share it to your story. And you might want to duplicate that video on Snapchat and post your story if you have Snapchat, which I have gotten lots of responses from Snapchat, which is, I didn't think that was a cool tool until my 15-year-old, the social media whiz, is like, you got to be on Snapchat. Which, by the way, Noah, you guys will have to just keep this in your back pocket when you see him. He got in trouble. Oh, no.
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
So Noah got in trouble when he was in 10th grade. 10th grade? Something like that. And I took his phone away from him and I took control. He changed his passwords and I got mad, so I took control of his Snapchat, and I was sending out messages every day to his entire Snapchat, and by the end of the week, his friends were like, "Dude, can you give your phone back to your dad so he can take over your Snapchat again?" But now I use Snapchat for real estate, so you might want to check that out. But you're on Monday, you're going to record your video. On Tuesday, you're going to email it out to your database. You're going to put it on Facebook. You're going to ask the sellers, send it to the agent if you're not the listing agent, and ask the sellers to post it on their Facebook as well, because they have a sphere of influence. They have people looking at their Facebook. And so just say, hey, listen, can I reach out to your sellers? I've made a quick video sharing about the home and about the open house, and I just want to see if they'll share it on their Facebook page. And then just call them and say, hey, my name is Jonathan Dupree. I'm going to be doing the open house this Sunday at your home. I'm really excited about being there, and I'm really working hard to promote it so we have a great open house. And I made a quick video. If I send it over to you, would you mind just sharing it on Facebook and then post a message like, hey, you guys please come attend my open house this weekend? I'd really appreciate that. So that's what you're going to do on Tuesday. On Wednesday, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. I almost thought that you were talking about actually sending it, if you're holding an open house for another agent, have them share it on their stuff too. So you would want the seller and the seller's agent, if you're not the actual listing agent, right? Have everybody share it. Right?
Yeah, because if I'm not the actual listing agent, the listing agent's going to want people to get there too, because it just, whether the house sells or not, that's a lagniappe, but for them, the more people that get there, it makes them look better to their sellers. So I want all of them to share that video, the seller, the seller's agent, if I'm not the listing agent. Then on Wednesday, you're going to make a flyer for the home, or a door hanger, whichever you want. If you go to eXp Marketing and you go right to open houses, There's lots of open house flyer templates. And when you click on the one you like, it's super easy to change out the photos and all that. And so you can go snag a photo from KV Core, just go to the listing that you're holding open. And even in KV Core, you can create a flyer that way too, but it's a multiple page flyer. And the one on EXP Marketing is a one-page flyer. And just ask the agent, if it's not your listing, hey, listen, I'm making a flyer for the open house, and I'm sure you're okay with this, but I just want to ask before I do it, can I take a couple of the photos from within KV Core to make a flyer for this open house? So select your flyer, and then you're going to print those flyers out, and you're going to go door knock within the area of the house that you're holding open. And so you're going to go and you're going to knock on those doors. And let me pull up. I've got a script open. Give me 1 second. That's not the script. Can you guys see this script? That's the open house scripts. Okay.
Yes.
So this is, I'm working on a new script book right now, and I'm in this section, so I just wanted to pull it up for today. So this script is going to be my door knocking script, and I will post this specific script in our group today. But it's really simple. It's just knock on the door, and I'm just going to say something like, hey, this is Jonathan Dupree. I'm with eXp Realty. And I just want to let you know I'm going to be hosting a special open house on North Shore this coming Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. I was just curious, did you know that this home was for sale? And I'm going to listen to what they say. Hey, I also wanted to drop off a flyer for this home just as a reminder of the open house. And I also wanted you to have it so that you could share it with anyone who you can think of that might want to move into this neighborhood. I mean, this is really a great time for you to be able to choose your neighbor. And I also promised the seller that I would get the word out in the neighborhood. And I was just curious, who do you know that might want to live in this area? Now, I'm putting them on the spot, and they might not have anyone. So whatever they say, I'm just going to say, well, listen, thanks so much for taking the time to think about that. And again, I just want to remind you, this open house is this Sunday. It's from 3 to 5. Feel free to stop by. I'd love to show you the home. Now, here's a neat idea that you might want to do. And someone shared this with me. This is not my idea. But you could also position yourself kind of as the neighborhood expert. And what this agent does, I think it was Jenny Williams who shared this with me. What they get agents to do is to simply do a neighbors only preview before the official open house. And they'll even ask sometimes for the homeowners to stick around for that first hour and meet their neighbors. So you can go in and say something like, if you do that, let's say your open house is from 3 to 5, from 2 to 3 might be the neighbor only preview, and put that on your flyer that you're giving to them. Neighbor only preview 2 to 3 p.m. And then you change your script just slightly. The very first part you add at the opening, you just say, hey, listen, and also before the public open house, we're going to be hosting a neighbors only preview from noon to 1 or 2 to 3. We're going to have some refreshments, and it's a great way for you to meet your other neighbors and come see this home. So, and just one more way to get you in front of as many people in that neighborhood as possible, because you heard Scott say he had a listing, and then someone across the street finally called because he'd been farming that area, and he's got another listing from that listing that sold. You're holding this house open, leverage that. All those other agents, if it's not your listing, don't know it's not your listing. Just meet them and not agents, homeowners, and have a conversation with them. Give them your card. Get them to sign in. Have a neighbor-only guest book that they sign in, and then you can follow up with them using the Just Listed, Just Sold script, which, by the way, I just posted that, and that's the script that you see on the screen, the Just Listed, Just Sold. Even if you didn't list it, it's a great script to follow back up with the neighbors to use. So that is your door knocking script. Really simple, really quick, efficient, and you're going to give them a flyer. Now, when you're working.
Hey, Jonathan,
Yep.
can I add one thing in real quick?
Yeah, you bet.
It's okay. This is something this one guy told me down here. We actually have HEB's a big food bank driver down here. So sometimes we're also going to be holding a food drive. So if you want to come by the open house, you want to bring some unperishable goods, or please feel free to bring them by, and you kind of give them. We have these bags down here for the food drives. You kind of leave one off at the house. Just another way when you're door knocking, you're kind of giving them some value. Not sure if that helps or not, but that's one of the big things that one of the guys taught us, and I'm going to try to implement that and see how it works.
Man, that's a fantastic idea, and you could even add that if you wanted to the neighbor only preview. You know, you could put it on your flyer, you could put it in your video. That's a great way to reach out to your sphere and get them to come to drop off something. So I love that idea. I think that's fantastic. And you could do in the neighbor only. You could say, hey, listen, and by the way, we're doing a big food drive for such and such for the food bank. So bring a canned good or two to the open house. We're trying to get all the neighbors in the neighborhood to really pitch in and do that when they come to the open house. So that's your door knocking. And what you've done is this script and you going talking and saying, look, I'm really working hard for the seller. I promised them I'd really promote it here in the neighborhood. I promised them I'd really work hard. We're also going to do some community outreach. I love that idea. So bring a canned good or whatever it is that you decide to do. It's not a soliciting sounding script. It's more like you're inviting them to come to the open house. Now, what do you send in your email? Let me fix this because I messed it up. To the people in your database. So you made that video, and you're going to email it out on Tuesday, and this is the email that you're going to send out. So the subject's going to say, guess what I'm doing this weekend? And then the text is going to say something like, hey, Noah, hope you're doing great. This weekend I'm going to be holding open a great home in Lake at White Oak. And if you're in the neighborhood, stop by. I'd love to see you. If you happen to know anyone who's looking for describe some of the features of the home, feel free to forward this email over to them. Make sure you watch the video, and then you're going to put the video in. And I'd put the video at the bottom and at the top if it's a link. So they have two opportunities to see that link. And if it's BombBomb, and I'm sure that the one Heather uses too, I think does the same thing. It actually puts a thumbnail of the actual video so that they can see there's a video there. But that's going to be the message that you're going to send. And again, I will post both of these, all of these open house scripts in the group. Now, what do you say to people who are attending your open house? They're coming through. This is, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but just while I'm going to pause because I'm jumping ahead of myself, and I don't want to do that. So any questions on so far where we're at? Day one, on Monday, you're going to record the video invite. On Tuesday, you're going to email your database. You're going to post it on Facebook. You're going to ask the agent, if it's not your listing, to post the video on Facebook. Ask the seller to post it on Facebook, inviting people to come. Post it on Instagram, Snapchat, all your social media outlets that you're going to post it to. On Wednesday, you're going to go door knock in that area with the flyers and invite the neighbors to come. And if you want to take it a step further, do a neighbor-only preview the hour before the official open house starts. And then on Thursday, you can go door knocking again and hit the other area. Like if it's a big neighborhood and you couldn't get all of them in on Wednesday, then you go on Thursday. I would also call expireds in the area. This is back to the circle prospecting or reverse prospecting. And so I would call the expireds in the area, and I would say something like, and I don't have this in a script typed out, but I would just simply call the expireds and say, hi, my name is Jonathan Dupree. I am in real estate. I noticed that your home is no longer listed in the MLS. Are you guys still thinking of selling it? Well, yes. Why do you think it didn't sell? And go through the normal questions that we talked about with an expired. But then I'd circle back and say, well, listen, I'm holding an open house in your neighborhood. You may have seen the home for sale on XYZ Street, and I just wanted to come by and invite you. I'm also, maybe you got a flyer. I was out in the area door knocking. Maybe you've seen that, and I just want to invite you to come. And afterwards, I'd love to maybe take a little bit of time and meet up with you and share with you what I do to get homes sold. So it's just one more time you can reach out, look for any expireds. There might not be any expireds in that neighborhood that you're holding it open, but look and see. And if they're in the area, they're close, but not real close, like not in the same neighborhood, but close enough to come to the open house, invite them to the open house, maybe pop by instead of calling them and door knock. To just, what you're trying to show is you're an agent who's working. You're working to get homes sold. You're aggressive. You're marketing properties. You're out there beating the streets. That's why it's probably good to drop in and door knock on that expired in the area of where you're doing your open house, because they see you really out there working versus in their mind, they had an agent who probably didn't do a good, in their mind, right? It could be that they just weren't realistic about their price or never wanted the house to be shown, but they're going to always blame it on their agent. So on Thursday, you're going to door knock again and try to pick up some expireds that you can go meet with as well. Now, Sunday, the day of your open house, or Saturday, whatever day you're doing your open house, you want to put out as many signs as possible early in the morning. So get those the little open house signs, put as many of them out as you can. I tell Noah, what do you put on the signs?
Do what?
What do you put on the signs, the open house signs?
Balloons.
Everyone's like, don't put balloons on a sign. That's so dumb. Put them on. It lets some people just see that they come. In fact, when I started, you guys might not remember this, but when I started Real Estate 101, I used to keep an Evernote file, and I don't remember how my login on this new computer. I tried logging in to see it, but I've got a picture of me in my car with balloons all behind me, and I'm going and putting out open house signs with balloons on. And Noah was with me. It was his first open house, and we were doing it together. And now he does an open house every single week, and he picks up prospects from it. So go put as many signs out as possible. I don't know how it is in your market, but we've got sign thieves in ours. We have this one guy who loves to go take real estate agents' open house signs on Sunday. He just takes them and throws them in his truck, and he drives off. So you might have someone like that. Put some extra signs out in case there are, so that people can easily find where your open house is. And then you're going to go get ready for your open house. What are some of the things that you could bring with you to the open house that would be beneficial to have? What do you guys think?
I always bring a flyer that I've made for my Homekeeper app and give it to everybody.
Yeah, flyer for your Homekeeper app. If y'all don't know, you all have a free access to Homekeeper Pro, which is like $500 a year. You get access to that at EXP as an EXP agent, and it helps connect homeowners with vendors. And when I say vendors, pool cleaners, landscapers, painters, handymen, insurance agents, mortgage lenders, like you name it. They're all across the board.
Can I ask a quick question, Ricky?
Yep.
That flyer, is that listing specific professionals that you work with, or is it just a flyer promoting Homekeeper?
Well, it's a Homekeeper flyer that has my information on it. So when they log in and down the app to either to their phone or their computer, it's specific to me with my branding on it. And then they start getting drip, text messages or phone call or emails from the Homekeeper. And I just kind of explained to them, hey, everybody needs a list of good vendors. These are vendors that I've used or that people I'm associated with that are very professional use. And there are all kinds of vendors here, just like Jonathan said, whether it be pool people, construction, plumbers, electricians. I've got home mortgage companies on there. And I invite them. They all love being included in that. So, and people are, oh, wow, this is great and it's handy. And it's amazing how many of them will download that app and start using it.
Cool.
How do
Thanks.
you access that Homekeeper?
It's Homekeeper Pro. Hold on, and I'll tell you.
How to spell it?
No,
do you
it's pros.homekeeper.com/exp realty, I think. Let's see. Well, it's just logging me back in, but that's what it is. It's pros.homekeeper, and there's no ER. It's just KEP. Let me just paste this in the chat. That'd be much easier. And it'll just walk you through signing up, and it's free for you to use. Now, a little food for thought, since you brought up Homekeeper, is you'll see I have 14 vendors. I could have a lot more, but I actually have my vendors. I'm trying to send this via chat. My vendors pay me if they want to be on Homekeeper. So it's just a funded proposal. They pay a yearly fee, and it's not much. They pay $149 to have their listing on my Homekeeper Pro app. So it just gives you a little bit of extra income to generate leads, money you want to use for marketing or whatever. So see this tab that says marketing? If you click on the marketing tab, these are the flyers, and this is what Ricky is talking about. Yeah, there you go. That's the flyer he's using. And so it just automatically has all your information on here, your website and your phone number and your email and your picture. So that is a great resource for you to have at your open house, is your flyer for your Homekeeper. What else could you have at your open house in addition to that?
You could get a mortgage lender to work up a sheet for, let's say, the offer price with a couple different mortgage options.
Yeah, you could get a lender to put in a finance option sheet for you about the house, showing you what, if you did this, it'd be this. If you did this, it'd be that. If this, it'd be that. Noah, you did a video with Mom. My wife is a loan officer. And they did a video together before our open house, and she helped him put together some flyers like that. So that's absolutely a great tool that you could put in. What else?
You could have flyers or just the other listings that are in the general area, because you can then say, if you don't like this home, I have other homes I can show you.
Yeah, so I definitely would have the flyers, so you guys know the flyers that you're going to be using to hand out. You want to have those lots of extra flyers there with you, available for them to take. So you might have them in a little packet so that you've got the seller sheet, and maybe you have the lender pay for the flyers to be made, and on one side's their sheet and the other side is your sheet, your flyer. So you make it two-sided. And then they pay to have it printed, so it doesn't cost you money to do that. That's an idea. And then you have a little packet for your Homekeeper flyer, your lender sheet, your flyer of the open house. You might have a flyer that has similar listings. I love that. And are you familiar? Like, you might have your laptop or your iPad open with your KV Core site, with the actual listing open from the back end. So I just pulled up a house. But do you guys, are y'all familiar with the similar listing feature within KV Core? So when I go to, I'm just going to assume that you're not, and those of you that are, just bear with me. So when I'm over here on this side, I'm just going to go right here to this listing part. And then I'm going to type in the address, and it's going to pull up the listing. And down here, this blue bar right here, you'll see a tab that says similar listings. So when I have done open houses, and Noah, when he and I were doing it, we just had this open, and we opened up the similar listing tab. And what it does is it literally pulls open all the similar listings. So you could be talking to someone and you literally could have a conversation and go through some of these different listings and say, well, look, I'm finished here at 5 o'clock. Why don't we go grab a cup of coffee at Starbucks? I'll send you some of these listings to look at. In the meantime, have you been pre-approved? I've got this script for you. Who's your lender? If you don't have one, I've got someone great that I could recommend. They always seem to find the best rates and the best deals. And the main thing is they seem to get the deal done. And so I think it'd be great if you have someone to get a second opinion, but they can meet with you before, and you can go call them, or I can have them call you, and then we can meet at Starbucks and I can pull some of these homes and see what you're really looking for, or we can meet the first of next week, which would be better. So that would be a conversation that I would have on similar listings. But I would have this open on my computer so that I've got all the information about the property readily available for me, and I can see similar listings that are there as well. What else do you think you could have in addition to a flyer for the property, flyer from a lender with finance options, your Homekeeper Pro flyer? That we already talked about, the Open House app, the KV Core Open House app. Can you think of anything else you would maybe want to have?
I like to keep bottles of water available. Ideally, even like a chocolate or something that has the address written on it or something like that, but definitely water at the very minimum.
Yeah. So some refreshments. And it might be water and some chocolates or some cookies or whatever it is. The key is don't wing it, plan it out. Most people just try to, on Sunday, they're driving to their open house and like, man, I should have something at this. And so plan it out. You got plenty of time where you can just make labels for your water bottles and put on with your website and your logo and or the EXP logo, and just wrap them around the bottle. And so you can really get creative, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. You might even make, in the EXP marketing, there's a section on personal brochures, which we're going to focus on week 7, the week after next, on how to brand yourself. But you're going to, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. You're in the personal branding, we're going to create a personal brochure. You might want to jump on that now ahead of the curve and go create your personal brochure within EXP marketing. And you might print that out and have that at your open house so that it's a little bit of bragging about you as an agent and what you do to get homes sold and how you help buyers, what your value proposition is. And then I would have, like I said earlier, I would have your laptop or iPad there open and ready to help people and to show properties and show them similar properties and all that good stuff. I want to, yep, go ahead.
I want to add one quick thing on that. For as far as snacks and stuff go for open house, I always recommend getting something that you can either use for something else or save till the next week, as opposed to something that's going to go bad if you don't have like a tremendous turnout. I get kind of creative on mine, and I'll do either cake pops or little bags of popcorn. And I have a sign I stand up at my open house on the counter that says, "Thanks for popping by," or "Thanks for popping in." And it has my card and everything that hangs off it. But if I don't use any of those at the open house, I then take those out and I do my own pop buys, and I go see some of my lenders or affiliates or whoever, and I say, hey, I just wanted to pop by, and I have my card and everything already with it so that I can use those throughout the week.
That's awesome. That's such a great idea. Thank you for sharing that. Good stuff. So now the closing part of what we're going to talk about is simply what to do during the open house and what to do after the open house. So during the open house, you have people come in, and it's always like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It's like, like the 7th grade dance, the boys on this side and the girls on this side, and no one knows how to talk to each other. Just enjoy it. Have fun. And when they come in, just say, hey, my name's Jonathan with eXp Realty. How are you guys doing today? Fantastic. Hey, listen, before you walk through the home, the homeowners have asked everyone to come in would please sign in. So can I get you guys to do that real quick? I'm just assuming they're going to do it, and I'm kind of leading them right to it, and I'll take the iPad and point to it and say, if you guys would just fill us out real quick. I like using the Open House app because it asks for all their information. It says, are you interested in similar homes to this? If they say yes, it's automatically going to put them in my KV Core CRM. It's going to automatically send them other properties that are similar to this one, and I can easily follow up with them. But if you want to use a paper sign-in sheet, that's okay too, and you can download those at eXp Marketing under the Open House resources. But that's the script. The homeowners have asked everyone to come through the open house to please sign in. Can I get you guys to do that real quick? Great, thank you. So, hey, how did you all find out about this open house? Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And now if I'm walking through the house with them, I'm going to ask them some of these questions. If it's slammed, then I'm just greeting the guests there and then telling them to walk around. I'm not obviously going to be able to follow them around and ask these questions. If I feel like it's a hot prospect, I'm going to ask them these questions at some point, and I'm kind of filtering out the buyers who send signals and asking them questions before they leave. Make sure, though, you acknowledge everyone who comes through the open house and talk to them, because you never know. This person might not look like they can buy a house, or that they want to buy a house, or that they're serious, and this person looks like I should be spending all my time here, and this person's the one who's ready to pull the trigger and buy the house. So don't ever prejudge someone. So the next part, these are the questions I'm going to be asking them. Do you guys already have an agent helping you with your home search? Now, I ask one extra question in here. Are you guys happy with that agent? Because a lot of times they're not, and they don't know that they can switch agents. Believe it or not, buyers don't realize they can choose the agents that they work with unless they've signed a buyer agency agreement. Have you seen any, and they usually haven't, because most agents don't know how to get them to sign that. But I'll ask that question. You guys already have an agent helping you with your home search. Are you happy with that agent? Yes, we are. Okay, fantastic. Who is it? And, oh yeah, they're a great agent. They're going to do a great job with you. Edify and build up that other agent. If they say, not really, I don't care who they are, and I'm not going to ask, I'll just say, well, I'd love to help you. I'd love to interview for that job. What prevented you? Have you seen some homes that you really like? Okay, fantastic. What prevented you from making an offer? What price range are you looking in? Are you guys working with a lender right now? Who is it? How much have you been approved for? Excellent. Okay, that's great. Well, I work different than most realtors. I like to meet up with my clients, spend a little bit of time finding out their goals and needs, and then put together some great homes to preview. I have some time this evening after my open house. We can meet at Starbucks around the corner. How's that sound? So now I'm setting an appointment, working to set an appointment with them to do a buyer consultation. And then this is just a series of questions, topics that you can talk about. I'm going to post these in our group as well today. How did you find the home? How long have you been looking for a home? What sites are you looking on? How's the home search going so far? I specialize in helping people like yourself find the perfect home at the perfect price. Is that something you'd be interested in? Why don't we schedule a time to meet after this open house or the first of this week? How are you searching for properties now? Are you looking in other areas as well? Tell me about that. Are you working with an agent? Are you happy with that agent? Have you spoken to a lender? Have you been pre-approved? What's the best time for you to see properties? What's the best phone number and email for me to call you before we get together? Yes, Noah, hop on that for me right now and just let people know I'll be there shortly.
I'm on it right now.
Okay.
I'll let them know.
What's the best phone number and email for you? Before we get together, I have a terrific lender. They always seem to get the best rates and programs, and most importantly, they get the job done. Would you like to get a second opinion on your borrowing options? So you're not going to ask all these questions. I'm just giving you a bank of questions that you can have some conversation to keep them in dialogue instead of just following them through the house and going, what do you think of this room? What do you think of this room? What do you think of this room? You want some dialogue to engage them, and the goal is to move them forward. If you remember, it's all about getting them to negotiating contracts, to writing contracts. If they live in the neighborhood, sometimes you do an open house and they pop in and they're from the neighborhood. You're inviting them from the neighborhood to come. Here are some other topics when they say, well, we live here and that's why we came by. Oh, that's great. How long have y'all lived in the neighborhood? Hey, if you guys were to sell your home, and I know you're probably not thinking of it, but if you were, where would you move to? That's a takeaway. You know, I know you're probably not, but if you were, where would you move to? And I'm telling you, if you can get them to say something, it's like you even if they weren't thinking, they walk away thinking, and you planted this seed subconsciously that they're thinking of selling, and they're going, man, I mean, I just had this happen with a friend of mine, and they weren't even thinking of selling at all. So how soon would you like to be there if that could happen, if that could be a reality? What's causing you to move? What's causing you to stay in your current home versus moving? If they're like, we're not moving, but this is where we'd love to be. Well, what's causing you to stay where you are instead of moving? I'd love to schedule a time to meet and preview your home and share what I do to get home sold and help you make that move. How's that sound? So these are some great questions. Some of you will look at these and say, some of these are too forward. I don't want to ask these questions, but I promise you they move people forward and they help sift and sort. So those are some great topics during the open house. Now, the last thing I'm going to share is after the open house on Monday, you want to give them a call and you just want to say, hey, this is Jonathan Dupree. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I met you at the open house on North Shore Drive. You came through. Hey, I just wanted to follow up and see what you thought of the home. Did you see any other great homes that day? Fantastic. So and you're just going through now asking the same questions, those conversation topics. It's the same ones you want to ask on the follow-up call. You're just working to schedule a buyer consultation again. You're trying to get that, remember, 1 to 3 appointments from each open house that you do. That's your goal. How can I get an appointment scheduled? So you're working to schedule an appointment. It's the same script. I'm just calling them now instead of saying it at the open house. And I'll say I work different than most realtors. I'd love to meet up with you guys and learn what your goals are and what your needs are and what you're wanting to accomplish in real estate, so that I can help you make that become a reality. So does that make sense? And then Scott says he has printed list of all listings in the area for people to take with them. I love that. That's a great idea. Tom Ferry talks about taco trucks and neighborhood parties. I'm thinking about I don't think there's anything wrong with doing any of that. I think, I think the key would be, don't think you have to do that to do an open house. And so you wait because you go, well, I'm going to plan this. And then it's, 4 months go by and you still haven't done an open house yet. I want you to schedule it today. And I want you to post in the group when you're going to do your first open house the way we talked about today. I'll have this video up in the group. I'll have the slides up and I'll have the scripts up and I'll have all of that done. I'll for sure have the scripts up today and the video up today. And it might take me until tomorrow morning or late tonight before I have the slides up in the group. Any comments or questions or thoughts on doing a successful open house?
John, I've got one question. In your daily guide here, Friday, what are we doing on Friday? I don't know if I missed that or...
Enjoying Friday.
Okay.
Friday and Saturday, enjoy it, get ready. You've done all your work on the front end and you're good to go.
Cool. Thanks.
You bet. Okay, well, listen, don't underestimate the power of the open house. You heard Adam say he has a deal he's working right now as a result of doing an open house for another EXP agent. You heard me share about Noah writing contracts and closing contracts from open houses. My sister, she sells over $50 million a year in real estate. Every single Sunday, she's doing an open house. So don't think that it's a bad thing to do an open house. It's a great avenue for you to generate leads. Guys, I've got to hop on a call and I'm running a little bit behind on that. I went a little over on today's session. Thank y'all for being here. I'll have this up soon and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.